Good morning, everyone. It's September 1st, and I feel like I'm hardly ready for this month. It's always busy at the start of a month, end of the month, and this morning I was like running around. It was just crazy. A lot of things happening on September 1st in the Stampin' Up world. We've got new items on the clearance rack. If you haven't already gone to check that out, go as soon as possible because there are some really good deals there. And the really good deals, some of the cheaper items, they tend to like sell out really quickly. So make sure you go and check it out as soon as possible. We've also got our new stamp and cut and emboss machine available today. Everyone can buy it now. And the magnetic cutting plate is also available today for everyone. And it's new to me too. I don't have it yet. It's just started to be available today. So that's really great news. What else can I tell you? Oh, we have a starter kit promotion. And the stamp set I'm using today, I'm going to be using one of the free stamp sets that you get in this new starter kit promotion. I will talk more about that at the end of this video, but I will share with you the stamp set in a moment, the one that you can get for free in the starter kit. What else can I tell you? Oh, today I am doing a technique. I am not a technique girl typically, but I couldn't resist. I've been wanting to do this technique for such a long time, but I am not an artist. Well, I shouldn't say I'm not an artist. I am an artist in the way that I stamp and the things that I create and the things that come out of my head, but I am not a watercolor artist. And today's technique is really getting into that realm, and I'm really excited about it. I watched a video by a fellow demonstrator, Leslie Watkins, and she is a watercolor artist. So I mimicked her using my own color scheme and my own twist on things, but really um, learned a lot from watching her videos. So I'm going to share how I did mine today, and hopefully I'll be able to do a decent job because I am very new to this technique. So if I'm new, hopefully we can all do a fairly decent job on this technique. So we will see in a moment. Can I do it a second time? I really wanted to do another run last night or this morning, but my gosh, my days are just filled with things these days. Right now I'm calling my parents every single day. My dad is in a rehab facility right now, and my mom had been in the hospital and now she's home. But they're both kind of separate, and a lot of us right now are very isolated. So I want to check in with them every day, even though I can't go visit them. So that takes a little time every day. And so every day I'm like scrambling to squeeze all these things into my day. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's just the way it is right now. So I am just kind of getting everything done. So I did get a chance to practice my technique a second time, which I really should have before this video, but hey, this way we'll be able to see how easy it is if I can replicate it a second time. Okay. Let's talk about what else. Casing Tuesday. This is the day when we take a card out of the catalog and give it a makeover. I just so happened to take that day and turn it into a card for Casing Tuesday, but it has the watercolor technique on it. But this is a group where you can join and share your cards. And our group has been growing, and each week we seem to have more people sharing and posting. If you want to be part of that group and you're not already, just check down below in the description of this video, and there's a link to our Casing Tuesday Facebook group, and you can ask to join that group. And we do weekly membership ads to the group, and so you will become part of that group, and then you can share your designs as well, because that's what makes it so much more fun if we all share our designs based on the same layout. So what is today's card? I love this layout. guess what? I picked it. So we have a blogging group that blogs with us every week. They are specially designated bloggers. Plus, we have everyone else that wants to join us. But this was the card that I chose. All those people that are blogging with us regularly that have been chosen, they all get to pick a card. And so this week was my card. Let me see where it is. There it is. Isn't it cute? We're starting cards out of the holiday catalog now. This is the first one that we're doing at the holiday catalog, and I just love this layout. I think it's a great layout. I think it will be an easy layout for everyone to do, so I'm excited about it. I, of course, did not use the stamp set because I wanted to try something different, right? But I love this card too, and definitely you could just recreate the card as is or make a few changes. So that's kind of the fun thing about casing and giving a makeover. And here is the layout. So it just kind of gives you some bare bones measurements, and you can kind of switch them, make them a little bigger, make them a little smaller. I moved my bigger layer over to the left side, so you'll see that in a moment. So you can make some tweaks as well. But that is our card for this week. Hello to everyone who's joined me. Good morning. I won't call out all your names. I love that you're here. I'm going to check back with the comments at the end of this video and see if there's anything I need to address. And if you have any questions, please post them either live or later on if you want to. Okay, let me see if I can get my camera over here. Okay. So here is my card, and this is the watercolor I did. Isn't that cute? I mean, I thought it was pretty good for my first time no line watercoloring. I was like pretty impressed. So we'll see if I can get anywhere near that when I do it again. You know, sometimes you're just like, oh, freshen your mind and it all's working out well. So this is the little thing that I watercolored, and the background paper is that Artistry Blooms paper, and I thought it tied in the colors in my floral design really well. So I used that as the background paper, and then I did a little embossing here. I did a little bit of coloring my ribbon there. So I'll go through and I'll do the entire card from start to finish, and let's see how well we do. I'll talk a little bit more about the starter kit special at the end, but I'm using the So Much Love stamp set, and this stamp set can definitely be purchased all on its own, but it is part of our little September 2020 starter kit special. And you can normally, the kit is still the same price, it's $99. And then this is one of the freebie add-ons to the kit just for this month. And there's a bunch of other things too, and I'll show you that at the end. I think we're ready to start. Okay, we're gonna do the watercoloring first. Let's see how well that goes. I've got my piece of watercolor paper, and really truly, in order to make this technique work, you do need watercolor paper, because it's going to allow you to move the color around on the paper without destroying the paper. When you use regular paper, you will destroy the paper. And I'm looking at my water pen, my water painter, and I have enough water. I was thinking of all the things that I need to remember to do. That's a really important thing that I need to do. The other thing for the No Line Watercoloring Technique, you're going to need an ink pad with a light color ink. I'm using Sahara Sand. It's a very neutral color of ink. When we say no line watercoloring, we actually do start with a line, but it's a line that you won't be able to see afterwards, okay? And then you'll need a stamp, and this one has a very has a line drawing on it. So I don't know if we do the same technique with bold stamps. I haven't seen it done before, but maybe we do. I don't know if this technique is completely new to me, so I am just so excited to give it a whirl. The other thing I'm using are these water painters, and they come in a set of 3, and I'm using the medium brush. We've got a flat brush, and then we've got a smaller brush, but I'm going to be using the medium brush. And I love water painters because I don't have a glass of water on my desk because I am a little klutzy with water sometimes. There have been a few accidents. Luckily it's been water, but you know, there's nothing worse than like soaking everything on your desk water, and it's just a disaster. So we keep the water contained in the barrel here. The one thing that I noticed with mine, and I'm not sure if this is with all water painters, is to unscrew it. You have to do the opposite direction of what is normal. And that took me a while because, you know, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Yeah, do the opposite for these because I was like trying to unscrew this and it was not working. So if you keep that in mind, it unscrews very easily, and then you just add water to the barrel, and that's what we're going to be using for this technique. And I hope I don't run out of water, but if I do, I'll just have to run to the sink, right? Okay, the other thing you need are ink pads. And I'm using Highland Heather, Old Olive, and Petal Pink. I also got the re-inkers because you can squeeze on the lids and create a little pool. But for this technique, I think you're really going to want the re-inkers so you can create a bigger pool of the ink. And because this one will take a little bit more ink, and you're going to be doing some mixing of ink as well. Okay, I think I'm ready. I hope I don't flub this. Let me get a little scrap piece of paper. I'll just keep this on my side. We're going to ink up in Sahara Sand. So I'm using the smaller of the 2 florals. I'm going to ink this up, and I have to stamp it off once. That's how late this is. So I'm going to stamp it off once here. Oops. Oh, shoot. Okay, I'm gonna have to stamp it off one more time because I dropped it and now my lines are gonna be a little bit off. Okay, let me do this once again. Ink it up, stamp it off, and I wanna stand up here, and I'm going to stamp this right down here at the bottom corner. All right, so I wanna show you this. You can probably barely see it, but this is a very light image, and you're gonna think, ooh, Brenda, this is really light down here at the bottom. It's not all even. It does not matter because that line is going away. So just as long as you get that stamped image on there, and you can kind of see where everything goes, that's what you want. Okay, this is too dark, so we just always make sure we stamp off once. Okay. All right, now I can put the Sahara Sand away, and we're going to start with our first color, which is Petal Pink. And I've already got some ink in there, but I'm going to put a little bit more. Okay. And I did post on my blog, if you want to see how Leslie Watkins did her watercolor, I posted a link to her video, and just so you could see how she did hers. I'm really thankful to her because like I'm squeezing out some water right now out of my pen onto here because I need to kind of create like a little bit of a wash. And you'll also need like a paper towel or something. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come along, needs to be a little darker. I'm coming along and I'm washing out the area that is going to be my rose. So I'm just using the outlines, and I'm kind of washing out where the rose is. So it looks like a big blob. And then I'm just gonna squeeze so I'm cleaning out my ink pad. Move that to the side for a moment. Let me show you. There it is. It is a blob. And that's how watercoloring starts. And okay, I'm not an artist. I've never done watercoloring before, but I am trusting Leslie Watkins because she actually is a watercolor artist. She actually does watercoloring without stems too. So she kind of knows what she's doing. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do these flowers. There's 2 on this side and 3 on this side. And I'm going to get some water going in here. You can test it out and see. And yeah, I'm just gonna come in and hit these little florals, basically obliterating the lines and the details. But yeah, I'm just kind of coming along. These to me afterwards kind of look like little violets or pansies. Okay. So I've added some more blobs. Okay, paper towel again. We're watercolor washing everything out. And now we've got the leaves to do. And I'm going to use Old Olive. And of the colors that we're using, Old Olive is really dark. So we're really going to test this out because when I started this one, I thought I had actually flubbed it up because I went too dark. So we're going to see if we can get these a little lighter. I'm going to add a little. It does help if you can let things dry in between. I see that this has been, it's fairly dry. Let's see. Okay. Add a little bit more water. Okay. So let's do this leaf down here. Come in. I'm going to dry off my brush just a little bit. It helps if you can leave just a tiny, tiny bit of white line in between the layers. So I'm just kind of coming in and hitting my leaves. I feel so brave that I'm trying this out on camera. All right. When you're doing this, you're gonna think that probably your design is pretty, not so pretty, because as you're doing this, it's like, it looks very blobby and you lose a lot of the pattern as you're doing this. So you kind of have to think about, you know, how a rose is built. Okay, I think I'm going to clean off my brush a bit. It's gotten a little stained, but the staining doesn't, it's stained, so it doesn't matter that it's not going to transfer color. Once the water runs clear, it's no longer has the color that this has been stained to. Let me just show you right now what the progression has been. So I've just kind of got those little blobs going, right? Okay, so now I'm going to take some of my darker ink from my Petal Pink, and I'm going to come in and I'm just going to do kind of like little hash marks to just darken some areas. Now you can kind of see I just did those little hash marks. Now I want to come in and add some blended colors. So what I'm going to do, I have this is an E block, and I'm going to bring some of my Petal Pink color onto here, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of green. I'm going to get rid of that afterwards. I'm going to blend a little bit of green into there. So this is kind of a muddier color. And now I'm going to come along and do the same and do some more little hash marks to kind of bring around the feeling of the rose. Come into the center a bit. And then I can add a little bit more green to the center. All right, so let's let that dry and see how that looks and see how that's coming along. And I'm going to clean off my brush now. And let me just show you where I'm at with this. Okay, it still needs to dry, but you can see I've got the light color wash in the background. I've got the darker just plain petal pink, and I've got a color that I've mixed with some green into the petal pink that's going to show up a little darker once it dries. So now what I want to do is I want to add a little bit more color to my little posies right here. So I'm going to dabble in this darker bit with less water. And I'm just going to add a little bit down at the bottom of each of these. All right. I'll show you what I did. Okay. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to use some of this darker green, Old Olive, and I'm going to add that to the bottom of these leaves. Okay, so the other thing that I want to do is I want to have kind of a drier brush, and I'm going to come in with some green, and I want to do the strokes for the stems up to the bottom of the posy. If you can't see your lines very well anymore, come back to your stamp set and have a look at the lines. It doesn't really matter exactly that the stems are in the exact same spot, but if you want an idea of where the stems need to be drawn, that's how you do it. So this is a fairly dry brush, and I'm using just the tip of my brush. I'm not pressing down very hard, and I'm just bringing in and creating some little stems. I see I need to kind of connect that a little bit. Okay. The other thing Leslie said to do, and I'm not sure that I'm dry enough yet to add this, but you can add some detail back into the leaves. And you can also, like, because this is a watercolor paper, you can also drag some of your color. You know, if this got too blobby, the green, you can wash out the color a little bit and pull it further along the leaf. I'm just adding water, no color at this point. I'm just pulling a little bit with my brush. Okay. Okay. So now my rose here in the center has dried for the most part. And if I want, I can come in and add maybe some little stamen, just doing some little ticks up in the center. few more little dark splashes of color. Okay, I like the way that's looking. I don't know that my leaves are dry enough yet. I don't think they're dry enough yet for me to, if I want to, just like I did the lines for the stems here, you can come back in and use the darker with a really dry brush and draw some of the veins back on the leaves. I actually didn't do that with my original. Okay, so I'm going to leave this for now. But I do want to show you one little cute, little, not cute, but fun thing that you can do that I don't know if watercolor artists do this, but I know we do this as stampers a lot. I want to create some background droplets just to break up the image a little bit so it's not just like blah right there. So how you can do that is just grab some of your green, or I think I'll use green to start off with. And you can use your lid and use it to flick down, and it creates little water droplets. I'm doing this right here on here. So let's just see how that creates water droplets. So I'm flicking now onto my thing, my design. I'm flicking some water droplets on there to create kind of some interest on there. I'm going to switch up my colors, take off the green, and get some of this color here. Now I have to clean my lid. You just need something to flick against, so let's see if I can do it against this portion. Here we go. You can kind of see some speckles going on. There. Kind of like that. Some little speckles on my card to break up the starkness of the background. All right, before I cap this, I'm going to let water run through. And then let's get this out of the way, get these ink pads out of the way, because if I don't get them out of the way, I will probably stick my fingers in them. All right, let's finish off this card. And let's get some of the ink off of my surface so I don't transfer it onto me. Okay, so my card, I'll need a card base. So I'm going to use some gorgeous grape cardstock. And this is a half sheet of cardstock. So it's 8.5 by 5.5. And I scored it in half at the 4¼ inch mark. Okay. And then I got a piece of the Artistry Blooms paper. I found the purple pattern that kind of fades to this orangey color. And I've cut this to 5¼ by 4 inches. And I'll just use a little bit of my Tombow. Look at this bright gold paper on the background. It's beautiful too, but this would totally overpower my florals. So this paper is just gorgeous. It kind of looks like a watercolored background in its own right, but it's a big solid color, so it's not going to distract from my floral, right? So doesn't that look pretty? Okay, I know I'm not a watercolor artist, but I'm pretty happy with how this turned out, considering that I have never ever watercolored for real in my life. You know, this is kind of neat just to be able to do this with our stamps and some ink and a water brush. Pretty happy about that. So I'm just adhering this piece. Um, so centered from top to bottom and about a 1/4 inch in on my paper, and maybe a 1/2 inch in if you're doing it from the edge of the cardstock. All right, so now we need to create this piece up here. So I've got a piece of gorgeous grape cardstock. This is just a scrap piece of paper. And I'm gonna grab my little greeting and find my Versamark pad. And I need some white embossing powder. And my heat tool is back there somewhere. So I'm just taking my greeting, and this one says, "You made my day." It's also in the same stamp set. And I am just going to stamp this down here like that. The Versamark stays nice and wet for a while, so I can grab my white embossing powder, and I've just dumped it. It comes in a little container. I dump it into a little plastic container, so it makes it really easy for me to tap off. So I have a little baby spoon, and I just am going to sprinkle this embossing powder over top of my image, tap it off, tap this off. Okay, so see how nice that is? It's back in the container and not in my way. And then I'm going to take my heat tool. It's way back here. I'm going to make some noise. Here it is. And I'm just going to heat this up. And you should be able to see when it turns white. Okay, when it turns a different color, you know that it's done. And just kind of air it in the air for a moment. I'm going to put my heat tool way back there. Just wave it in the air for a moment so it is no longer tacky. You don't want it to be still warm, because when you push it through the punch, if it's warm, it might mar on the edges if you're not careful. So then I'm just going to slide this in here and center it. This is, oh shoot, I forgot the name of this punch. I think it's called the Label Me Pretty punch. No, it's not that. It's Label something. Label Me Fancy punch. Okay, I need to look it up. I have it. I wrote it on my supply list, but oh my gosh. Label Me Fancy. It's the Label Me Fancy punch. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to add this on here with dimensionals. So let's grab some dimensionals here. I don't know why, but for this one I just wanted it to be really solid, so I stuck 4 on here. You could use 2 if you wanted to, but I was kind of undecided as to where to put them, and then on my other card I used 4. So these are just little foam dots that raise your image up a little bit. So I'm just gonna find a good spot for that. It's looking pretty good, huh? And then I tied a bow earlier. And where did my scrap piece of paper go? Here it is. Okay, so this is the white crinkled ribbon, but white is a little stark on here because my watercolor paper looks a little vanilla. So you can see the difference. I added some purple posy Stampin' Blends to my ribbon. I pre-tied my bow. Sometimes I color my ribbon first and then I tie it, but I had a bow already tied, so I just tried it to see how it would look if I did it with a tied bow, and it worked really well. So that's why I decided to do it this way. This is Purple Posy, and it's the dark one. I'm using the brush tip, and I'm just going to brush on the Purple Posy ink onto my little bow. And it dries a little lighter than you'll see right now. But I love having that color on there because it makes it just a little bit darker than the white. So I want it to not be white elements on your card draw your eye in. So they say, hey, look at me, okay? And so when you mute something to a darker color, it tends to make it want to retreat, usually, on most cards. So that's why if you like make something a little darker, it's not going to be right there, right in the forefront, screaming its name, because after all the work that I did with my watercolor, I want the watercolor to be the centerpiece of this card, right? I don't want it to fade into the background. So you can just see, I just want to show you the one on the right here. You can see it's fading, but the color is still a little darker. So it's going to fade to a nice light purple. And I'm going to take a glue dot right here, and this is my paper piercing tool, which we no longer sell, but you can use this with the Take Your Pick tool, which also has a pointy end on it. Sorry, I didn't have my tool right there. So I'm just going to, I created kind of a blob with my mini glue dot, and now I'm just going to add that on there. Okay, and then the other thing is I've got some Rhinestone Basic Jewels, and I will grab my Take Your Pick tool. Where are you? Way back here. So with the starter kit special, you also get a package of Rhinestone Jewels. So I was like, yeah, we have to use some jewels on here too. And I'm just going to use a large, a medium, and a small. And I'm just using the putty end of my Take Your Pick tool. And that just picks up the little rhinestones easily. Sometimes it's really hard to pick them up and move them. So you need something that will help transfer them over so you don't drive yourself crazy. Okay, here are my cards. What do you think? All right. I am not a watercolor artist, but I feel pretty accomplished that I created a little mini watercolor with the help of some stamps and the help of Leslie's video. Thank you, Leslie, for that. And so I really like the way this turned out. I don't know. What do you think? I think if you didn't know that it was me doing it and that I hadn't have no art background, you might look at it and go, huh, that's pretty good. So that's the way I'm trying to look at it, because I think we're always more critical of our own art. Let me tell you just a little bit about the starter kit special, because it is a good one. So the regular starter kit is $99, and you can choose $125 worth of product to put in your kit. So one of the things people are getting, let me grab it. So you can, if it's time to replace your die cutting machine or you don't have one, our Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine is available to put on the starter kit. It is $120. You can choose $125 to put on your starter kit. So you can put this baby on your starter kit plus another $5, maybe grab a little embellishment or something to add, or some adhesive to finish out your starter kit, or choose whatever else product you want. It's your choice, $125. And remember, you're only paying $99 for that $125. And there are a bunch of other perks as well. But for the September special, what you will be getting are these things. So you will be getting the So Much Love stamp set that I used today. You're getting that free in your kit in September 2020. You'll get the Queen Anne's lace stamp set as well, free in your kit. This is above the $125 you choose. You automatically get this in your kit. So you don't get to choose these additional products. You get to choose the $125 worth of products, plus these guys come for free. You'll get a package of the Rhinestone Jewels, the ones that I used on the card today. And you're going to get kind of a card class that will make 16 cards. And here are the cards. I'm just going to show you. I made them yesterday and they are so beautiful. You'll get all the pieces that you need to make these cards. So they'll give you the cardstock. They will give you envelopes, so 16 envelopes as well. The only other things you'll need to complete the card are adhesive. You'll need, if you want to do these cards exactly as is, you'll need the Misty Moonlight ink pad, that's that dark blue, and the Bermuda Bay ink pad. And you'll need some blocks to put your stamps on if you don't already have that. And I'm trying to think what else. You probably need some sort of cutting device so you can cut up some of these are a certain size and you have to cut them to a little bit smaller, like some of the pieces. So you'll need a way to do that, like a trimmer. So, but basically you'll have all the pieces you'll need for the cards and you get to make these cards. So it's a nice little bonus add-on for September. So definitely if you're getting the embossing machine, Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, it would be great to get it for cheaper. Get it for $99 and it ships for free too. Your starter kit ships for free. So that is an amazing deal for the month of September. Okay, I'm coming back over. All right, guys. If you liked some of the things that I did today, if you liked the products I used today on this card, you want to make this card at home, check down below. There is a link over to my blog and it has a supply list with all the products that I used today. And you can have a look and see what you need to fill out that supply list. Or you can get more information over on my blog about Casing Tuesday, and you'll get to see the sketches, the ones that I showed at the beginning and stuff as well. You can grab them directly from my blog. Let me have a look at what everyone's saying. Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad you joined me this morning. Hi, Connie. Connie from Denmark. I feel so privileged that she joins us from Denmark. Thank you. I hope you are well too. Dee says she's really excited about the magnetic cutting plate. I am too. If I get around to it, I'm going to order it today. And if I don't, I'm going to order it tomorrow. It's a busy day today for some reason. September 1st, I've got this long to-do list. So I will try and get it ordered today. And if not, tomorrow. I'm going to expedite it in any case. So I'm so glad that you guys are joining me here today. Marie says she still has not attempted watercoloring. I think this one's a good one to try it on. I like the stamped image because it's not too difficult. So which one did I do today? I did this one. So this one I think is not too difficult. I'm pretty impressed that I created something that looks like a rose. I wouldn't stare at my watercoloring really close up, and because I think when you do that with watercoloring, you like go, that just looks weird, right? But if you hold it back like here, just me seeing it on camera like this, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good. It's not bad, right? So did I use the most color depth? No, but I think this turned out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with this. And I would give this card. I wouldn't be embarrassed to give this card. I say, Marie, give it a whirl. Get some watercolor paper, get those water painters out and give it a whirl and give it a try and then let me know what you think. Good morning, Karen and Dee and Lynn. I hope I didn't miss anyone. If I don't mention you by name, if you haven't commented, I cannot tell if you're here or not. So that's a really hard thing. I'm really working blind here. If I can't see your name pop up on a comment, I'm sorry. And also, I'm only live for a little while, and then later on, I wouldn't be able to, respond to your comment. But thank you so much for watching this video. And if you want to see more of my stuff, make sure you get on my email list. There's a link down below in the description of this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video, and I will be back here. Actually, I'll be on YouTube on Friday at 10 a.m. with a new fun tutorial for you. All right, guys. Bye-bye. Have a great week.